Well, hello, my lovelies, and a very warm welcome to Thursday. A very warm welcome to Thursday. A very warm welcome to Thursday Night Live. You're going to have to bear with me tonight. It's back. It's back and rampagingly painful. So talking is a little bit tricky woo. But I'll do my best to soldier on, won't I? And the wine will help. Local anaesthetic and all that. Hmm. Cheers, your very good health. Now then, first cab off the rank is Name Me -1. Hi all, and special congrats to Neil and Sophie. Wasn't that last night lovely? Wasn't last night lovely? I went to bed with a big old smile on my face, and that was because I broke wind quite violently. Steve Colg is here, Jimmy Quinn, good evening, Boaty and all. Good evening all, says Peter P. Matron's here, evening all, and hello again to the mustard migrants. Oh, was Mustard doing his thing tonight? Oh, that would have been fun, no doubt. Lord Stiff Upper Lip is here. Hey, Boaty. Core, says Matron. Think I have added too much vanilla to my plain yogurt. It tastes a bit like a candle. All the nice girls love a candle. All the nice girls love a wick. Because there's something about a candle that reminds them of when they were younger. Food today. I always want to hear about your food, darlings. You know I do. Your days generally, of course, but I always want to know about your food. And Matron's about to tell us. Food today was a ham, tomato, and pesto panini. Then later, pork shoulder with courgette and apple. And now, yogurt with raspberries. Blimey. Lunch today for me was chicken and chips. I was going to go to the chippy because it's National Fish and Chip Day. And I thought, I'll do my bit. I'll go and support my local chippy. And then I couldn't be bothered to go out. So I didn't. So I had chicken and chips and a bit of curry sauce. Oh, and some onion. Hopefully the wine will help. Let's face it, wine never hurts, does it? Well, sometimes it can the next day. Jimmy Quinn is just having a chili and mayo barbecue chicken wrap. Yeah. Food today for Peter P was pan-fried Baltic herring with new potatoes and remoulade. Gosh, you eat quite exotically, don't you, Peter P? Now, obviously, being in Scandinavian parts, your diet is likely to be different to, well, other parts. But it sounds to me like you eat rather well. I'm guessing that you're quite a capable chap in the kitchen. Well, either that or you've got a capable wife. Uh, Andrew, I can't believe it's not Buttigieg is here. A very good evening, Boaty, and everyone again. How's the oral biting influence tonight, Boaty? Oh God, it was all right today, and then for some reason tonight, it's just got steadily worse. I even didn't take pills this afternoon. Maybe that's why. And then it started to get really bad again this afternoon, this evening. And at 9:30, I took some pills, thought that'll see it off, and it kind of hasn't. It's still there. So that's a bugger, but won't last forever, will it? The M11 is here and says, hey, you wonderful lot. Hope your days have been just perfect. And hello, too, to that perfectly seasoned jumbo sausage. That is Boaty. How very kind. Now, how would you season a jumbo sausage? I mean, are we talking about internal seasoning or are we talking about a bit of salt and vinegar shaken onto it as it sits on top of a pile of chips? We haven't talked about saveloys we should talk about fish and chips today, darlings. It's National Fish and Chip Day, isn't it? So, oh, what do you remember from fish and chip shops when you were a kid that you wish was still around now? How's that for a feature? Now, I miss the old wrapping in paper. Um, there's no feeling like it. It kind of doesn't matter so much when you're, when you're coming home and decanting it onto a plate. But I can remember walking through the local wood when I was a kid on a cold day, and you'd have your packet of wrapped chips, and you'd have it vertical. You'd hold it vertically, yeah. So thin at the top, and you'd hold it like that, and you'd tear into the top of the package. And as you tore into it, then this lovely steam of salt and vinegar wafting aroma would come up. And then you'd just, through that top hole, you'd pluck out your chips. And that was a wonderful thing. I miss the massive pickled onions that you used to be able to get in chip shops. I miss the amazing spring rolls that the local chippy when I was a kid used to do. Spiced potatoes. I miss those as well. And and I'll tell you what else. Do other chippies do this, or was it just ours? You know, when you were a kid and you piled out of the pub or the social club or working man's club, whatever it was, and you piled to your local chippy at whatever time it was, 11:30, and your local chippy would stay open for you. They don't do it now. Back in my day, old George Theodopolopodopodus, lovely guy, lovely family. I was at school with one of his kids, same year, same class, and they were lovely, absolutely lovely. Oh, good old George, he won't be with us anymore. That was in Matsborough Centre, by the way, in Redditch. And yeah, he wanted that drunken pub trade too, right? He did. And if you went just before they were closing, then you could ask for a special. And the way that a special worked was that you pulled out your pockets and you literally put all of the money that you had left from your night out on the counter, and he would give you a special. In other words, he would give you everything that he had left rather than throw it away. And amazingly, how did we used to do this? Amazingly, you would eat it, probably still living at home at this point. Your parents, your splendid mother, would have no doubt given you your tea, as I believe the lower classes call it. And then you'd go out, have 18 pints of Springfield bitter or Banks's bitter, go to the chip shop and have like a £2 special, about 10,500 calories wrapped in greaseproof paper and then newspaper. Happy days, darlings. Yeah. Hi, Emma. Hope you had a good train journey, says Peter P. And the M11 says, food today was a buffet lunch to celebrate my biggest lemon's 19th birthday. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. However, and at this point, the news gets bad. However, something I've eaten has triggered off my IBS. Bread, I suspect. Well, my advice to anybody living with the M11 would be I'd give it 10 minutes if I were you. Know what I mean? Barry Scrotter says, hi, Boaty and chat. Pizza and chips today for tea with a garlic dip. That sounds like a takeaway, Barry. And why not? Oh, Barry Scrotter has acquired some scampi fries today, so should be able to post a pic tomorrow. And save some for Monday Night Live, obviously. Scampi fries, official snack. Emma and Boaty's Monday Night Live. Oh, and Emma's quite excited about this. Yes, Barry. Oh, yes, 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 yes. That's great. Thank you so very much. She goes on to say, uh, Boaty says, Boaty, you think you've got garden problems? I do. Oh, this is a live broadcast. Wine burps are going to happen. We're just going to have to roll with them, darlings. Thank you so much. This has been a community service announcement. You think you've got garden problems? I have rats. I've managed to bump off 2 so far. And Barry's going to get a photo of that tomorrow for Emma. Can't read that one. I checked online, says Andrew Buttigieg, for the availability of scampi fryers here down under. They're available on the wall card doings, but not cheap. A single pack is over 10 Australian dollars, roughly £5 of the king's money. Bloody hell. Oh, that's beyond the pale, isn't it? Get a cat, Barry, to catch the rat, says Andrew Buttigieg. Blimey, Andrew, says the M11. Also, a lot of people seem to say they don't like scampi fries. Boaty couldn't have chosen a more unpopular snack if he had tried. Well, I could have made it Momo, but who the hell's going to have those? Who doesn't love scampi fries? No, they just haven't tried them, or they've forgotten how wonderful they are, or there's something, mentally wrong with them. Scampi fries are joyful. Oh, you don't need to be into seafood, Andrew. I don't eat seafood or fish, obviously being vegetarian. But scampi fries, forget about seafood, forget about anything like that. Forget about that they're supposed to taste like scampi with lemon. They just taste amazing. Get them down you. The M11 says, I had a pleasant day as well as celebrating with Big Lemon. I also enjoyed listening to loads of music through my headphones and potted up loads of cuttings of Sabrina. Oh, Christ. My trade scantia Sabrina plant. Yeah. Oh, Betty Scruff says, my scampi fries came from Poundland, the multi-pack with the bacon fries. Yeah, that's where I went for mine. £1.69, I think it was, for 3 packs of each. Oh, Sabrina, how's she hanging, Emma? Asked Andrew. Evening, Boaty, and indeed chums, says Alan Simpson. Oh, Jimmy says, I've just paid June's subs, Boaty, by PayPal. Have you? Bless your heart. That's very kind. And while I think about it, I also need to thank Richard Mann, who has done similarly. Gone on to the old PayPal link, which is in the description, and kind of transferred his. Oh, thank you, Jimmy. You have indeed. That's really kind of you. Thank you. In the description of the videos now, there's because obviously, with the demonetization and channel memberships paused and all of that, it's only until the end of August, darlings, and then normal service will be resumed. Hopefully, touch wood, fingers crossed, legs crossed, teeth crossed, literally in my case. If you click on the thing in the descriptions, there's a link there, and that takes you through to a Boaty's World PayPal doings where, if you wish to, you can do a monthly thing or a weekly thing or a one-off thing rather than doing the channel membership or the super chat or anything like that. And I'm really incredibly grateful to anybody and everybody who's done it, because teetering on the brink as I am, that's the sort of, oh, and Neil's done it now as well. Neil, I didn't even know you were watching. Bless you. Thank you very much. This is the sort of thing that is just, making the difference between, the difference between being able to make the bailiffs go away and having to say, come in, take everything, help yourself. Momos are in the top drawer of the freezer. The good cutlery is in the second drawer down. It is actually. The good cutlery is in the second drawer down. Oh, Trisha Alderman is with us, and so is Bad Books. Good evening, Boaty, says Bad Books. Hello, Jason, and all in chat, says Trisha. And the M11 says Sabrina is now Sabrina Junior. 1, 2, and 3. That's cuttings for you. I don't know anything about that. You might need to swap your wine for whiskey, sir, says Alan Simpson. What a splendid idea. I recommend medicinal, Lafroig? Don't know how to pronounce that. I was going to say I don't have whiskey in the house, but I have got a miniature bottle of Jack Daniels on the booze stand, I'm pretty sure. But I do have about that much of vodka left. That would do the trick, wouldn't it? But I'm doing all right. I'm surviving. I'm also struggling because the errant toothy peg is kind of flapping about now like a pair of Nora Batty's knickers on the washing line in a high wind, which is kind of disconcerting when you're trying to talk. But that's probably a good sign because it means that it's going to fall out soon. Although, thanks to some lovely comments in the on my videos, I shouldn't be too glad about the bad tooth falling out because it could lead to sepsis or immediate death or a large fine or a deep-seated abscess which will require a North Sea oil rig to come in and drill it out, or terminal flatulence, or I don't know, ingrowing toenails or something. But I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed, darlings, and soldier on, because that's the sort of chap I am. I'm an old Welsh pit pony. I just plough on regardless and take no jeffing notice. Oh dear! But you know, any excuse to neck down a bit of vodka, I'm taking that. Emma Lemon has got them hanging all over the house, and why not? I did take the piss out of you, Boaty, on Paul's Live, says Jimmy Quinn. Well, I wouldn't expect anything less, my dear chap. I wouldn't expect anything less. I mean, mustard does it, so why shouldn't you lot? God, it really is flapping about now. Maybe, maybe within the next 24 hours, I will be divested from this troublesome priest. Doesn't everyone, Andrew, says Andrew, in terms of taking the piss out of me? Yes. Ed Usher is with us and says, ahoy, hoy, Boaty, and good evening, everyone. As it's been Thursday here, I spent the day in the local with Mr. Quayle, the old devil. Barbara is still. Barbara is still, apparently. What, have you murdered her? Oh, it's the National Day of Sweden, says Peter P. Congratulations on your National Day of being Swedish. Oh, and excuse me, says Ed Usher, I'm a bit pissed. Barbara is still in. I bloody love my houseplants, says the M11. They're like friends. They're all named and they bring me a lot of joy. I've got a new idea for a channel now. I'm going to launch a new channel called Disinterested Houseplant Boy. And I will go around garden centres saying, I know fuck all about these and I've got no interest in them whatsoever. Do you sell any artificial triffids? Oh dear. Oh, Bad Book says, I see Rude Guy found out that it was one comment that demonetized his channel. Bloody hell, that's a bit harsh. Oh, what was it? Says Matron. I'd like to know that. Ed Usher says, shit, I've just pissed myself. Oh, I've never eaten scampi. Sorry, I'm just. You've got to love a random comment in the middle of the less random comment saying, shit, I've just pissed myself. Oh, we've all been there, haven't we? Dear, oh dear. I've never eaten. I've never eaten scampi fries, says Jimmy F500. Well, at least until 2 days ago. Didn't know they were even available here. Jimmy F500, you're Ireland, aren't you, dear boy? I think. Perfectly edible. May have to try them a few more times for a long-term test. I think you should. I think you should. Yes, everybody does take the piss, says Jimmy Quinn, but now I own up so people can't shit stir. And Neil jumps into the comments. How are we all getting on? Well, hello to you, you splendidly affianced fellow. How did it feel waking up having a fiance and being a fiance yourself? Although you've got one less E than Sophie, and don't forget that, please. Don't forget that Sophie has got one extra E to you. Both of your finalies have got an acute accent on them, but Sophie has got an extra E just before the one with the acute accent because she's a female lady woman type. Chap. Bugger me, it's too early for a chippy visit, says Andrew. Oh, it probably is where you are, isn't it? I didn't realise it was National Fish and Chip Day, but coincidence, I had a chippy tea or a fish supper in Scotland. Are we the only country that call fish and chips a fish supper? I think you are. Alan Simpson says, oh, hello, what's that? What's that? I'm being pinged with a link. Let's have a look at it. That's not yours, is it? Oh no, it wouldn't be yours at that price. Oh, that's cheap, isn't it? 100,000 miles, very clean inside and out. 6 months MOT, only advisory with boots. Oh, that's cheap, isn't it, mate? Okay, little bit puff spec. Oh, hang on. Nice aftermarket stereo. That's not too bad. Oh, I'll have a proper look at that tomorrow. Thank you, Neil. I miss full sugar Vimto to accompany my fish supper, says Alan Simpson. Hi, newly engaged Neil, says Matron. Simone is with us and says, hiya, struggling to stay awake. Bless you. Don't fight it, darling. Let my soporific tones send you off to sleepy bye-byes. The wine is definitely working. I've only had fish and chips once, says Peter P. 1997 in St. Helier. Oh, I love St. Helier. I'm very fond of St. Helier, Jersey, for those who don't know. It was very nice on a windy and rainy day. Fish and chips cooked in real beef dripping, says Jimmy Quinn. Not many places do that now. The M11 says, Neil, the very, very engaged man. How's it going? Is the sunburn calming down yet? Oh, yeah. For those who don't know, Neil and Sophie went to one of Spain's nudist beaches. Was it yesterday or the day before? He did send pictures, but I didn't want to look at them, quite honestly. And Neil managed to fall asleep, lying on his back, completely naked. Well, let's just say that his I don't know how to put this delicately, but his poor little chap looks like a boiled lobster. And as a result, and he's also got severely sunburned nipples, which he didn't realize could happen. And the result of all of that was that on the night that he became engaged, Neil was sadly unable to indulge in any kind of carnal togetherness due to the nature of the sunburn that was rampaging all over his body that he had revealed in its considerable nudity to the sun for, I think he fell asleep for about 9 hours, lying on his back in the hot, blazing Spanish sun. Completely naked, darlings. And the worst thing was, he told me this in a message, when he woke up and he was obviously very hot, in a bit of pain, and what he wanted more than anything else was a nice cold drink. And he couldn't go and buy one because being naked, he didn't have anywhere to put his wallet, did he? So, dear me. We all send you our sympathy, dear boy. We all send you our sympathy. We've all been there, haven't we? What did I do with that? There it is. Serves you right for getting your todger out on a public beach. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. That's a bit. What day is it? Thursday. You're not coming back yet, are you? I forgot how long you went out for. I assumed it was a week, if not two. The sunburn's getting there, MS, says Neil. Very bloody red. Very bloody red, though, still, especially in the wedding tackle area. Oh, it is 2 weeks. Oh, good for you. Back on the 16th. Oh, you've got loads of time left to enjoy yourself. Bloody hell. Your sunburnt prick might even have calmed down a bit before you have to come back. Oh, God. Jimmy Quinn says the father-in-law's fish and chip shop shut 12 to 1 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, get those drunken people, get that drunk money in. Neil says, hi, Andrew. We're all good, bit burnt still, but we're going to Palmer City tomorrow to go to the market and the cathedral. Right, Neil, word of advice. I'm quite a well-travelled man. Now, I know you got away with it on the beach, but that was an official nude beach, right? When you go to the cathedral, put some pants on, right? Word to the wise. What's good for the beach is not good for the cathedral. And I don't want you getting arrested down there in Spain. Spanish prisons are not pleasant, dear boy. So remember, tomorrow, pants on. Thank you very much. Sophie, make sure that he puts some pants on tomorrow. And Neil has just sent me a message to say thank you. You've just saved me from a torrid afternoon in a Spanish pokey. So you're very welcome, Neil. Anything else I can do to help? You've only got to shout. You know where I am, dear boy. I'm always here for you, unless you're, naked sunbathing. Then I'll probably be on the next beach over. Oh, well done, Sophie. Sophie has just messaged me to say, don't worry, I will. She's going to make sure that when that man of hers, that fiance of hers, gets into that cathedral, he's going to have his pants well and truly on. And that's what we like to see. The reputation of the AA will be in safe hands. He certainly is, Sophie. Quite right, too. I've got this vision now of Neil marching into a beautiful cathedral in Palma, just wearing a big pair of yellow and black underpants with very, very, very nice man written all over the bum cheeks. I'd like to see that, actually. Oh, stag do idea. Oh, dear. CMS, says Matron. I'm not the only one who says buffet. Well, that is the correct pronunciation. Well, what does the M11 say then? Buffet. I want to have a go on the buffet later. I'm going to get more than my fair share of ham sandwiches. I'm fucking going to go right into them sausage rolls. Fuck the salad. Not having that. But I'm going to be all over the fucking hula hoops. Buffet. That's what it is. I miss the chippy I went to as a teenager, says Barry Scrotter. Lovely chips. Never had any like it since. They sold up the new people couldn't cook a decent chip to save their lives. I have to say, the best chips that Toll Bar was pretty good. International Chippy. That's the place for amazing chips. Although David's Chippy in Milne Road, pretty good too. Welcome to the maiden wine burp, says Matron. Ed Usher says, Angela, I've bloody pissed myself again. When you come, can you stick the wet slacks in the laundry? I'll be in the snug. I found a snozcumber in the refrigerator. Do hurry. I want to be Ed Usher when I get older. Seriously, that's the kind of life I want when I'm 60 years old. I want a wife who, I just completely ignore. A housekeeper that I drunkenly carouse with. Ah. Those were messages from Sophie and John. Sophie talking about breaking the news to the family and already wedding planning, and John talking about a pair of budgie smugglers with the AA written all over them. 3, 2, 1. The sunburn was accidental, says Neil. I fell asleep on the beach. I know, I told them that. Of all the beaches to fall asleep on, a bloody nudist one. And at least you could have been face down, so it was only your arse cheeks that got sunburned. Sleep on your front, boy. Oh, I've just had a horrible thought. You hadn't manscaped, had you? Oh dear. Been there, Neil, says Andrew. Fell asleep in the sun on the family trip to Queensland. Was red raw on my little turnip. Oh, is that what you call it? Fair enough. Mr. Stephen Paddy from Port Sunlight in the Whittle. The Leisure Peninsula. Hi, Jason. Just entered the chat. I enjoyed watching your video today. I've been thinking about your garden. Your landlord needs to ring the letting agency as they are working for him. Right, update on the garden, darlings. I have spoken to potentially the new gardener. He is coming round tomorrow or Saturday to maybe start the work, have a look at the lawn, but certainly to assess it and to plan the doings for getting it back to spec. So that's a bit of good news. Hopefully the major work will be happening next week, he thinks. He's got a team, so it's not what I feared. He's not just one guy who can't take it on. He seemed quite a decent cove on the phone, as far as you can tell from these things. So my only fear now is that, the way that money works. Well, obviously, the letting agency, they've been pocketing the money that should have been paid to the gardeners for however many months it is now. And it's going to cost a right few quid to get the garden back to where it should be. So I'm concerned that they're going to forget that it's not their money, and they're going to get a quote from the gardener and say, oh, no, that's too much. Don't do that. Just do a half-assed job. So I'm going to make a friend of the gardener, and I'm going to be all over it, and I'm not going to stand for any half measures. I want that back to where it bloody well should be. But it is good news on the whole. Are there anything like Scampi knickknacks? Asks Simone. Talking about Scampi fries, I guess. And not really. They're much nicer. Much better texture. I once fell asleep pissed on the grass at Ozfest, says Paddy Scrotter. Wow, my face hurt for a week. Uh, And Mr. Stephen Paddy says, I myself have never had problems with the letting agency. They've always looked after my tenants. If there was a problem, um, that would be their job to fix it fast. Yeah, well, they've always been good as gold with me before. I think they've just, and Chris, the landlord, he's aware of the situation, so they're obviously keeping him sweet. You know, if as long as this new guy is some good, and they say that the other contracting work that this company has done for them has been very satisfactory indeed, well up to the standards of the previous people, then that'll be okay. I mean, you know, these things happen. Um, they haven't done it deliberately. It's an unusual situation. Um, I can't imagine they've got any other tenants where garden maintenance forms part of the rental payment. It's just the way it worked out with me and Chris. That Chris threw about best part of 20,000 quid at the landscaping of the garden and the new driveway and all of that. And obviously, it's in his interests and my interests for it to be maintained as well as possible. And the gardeners that I was paying previously weren't all that brilliant. Um, and so the guys who did the full landscape, they recommended the maintenance contractors who ended up being the ones who looked after it for the next 3 years, whatever it was. And they were just brilliant. And it just, yeah, the deal just worked out like that, that Chris and I decided that because it was in our joint interest, Chris didn't want to get landed with, because the garden is too intricate, really, for it to be the tenant's sole responsibility. You know, Chris's dad, who lived here very, very long term, he was a incredibly keen gardener, very green-fingered guy, and that's why the garden is the way it is. Now, normally on a rental let, you would want a much lower maintenance garden than that. So I don't think there's any way that they could make that garden entirely a tenant's responsibility. Really, it's too intricate. Not quite as bad now, but remember that previously I had spruce what's it, you know, 50 feet high trees, shrubberies, you name it. You can't expect a tenant to be responsibility for the maintenance of spruce fir trees and all of that sort of thing. So we decided we'd just go half each, and we were happy with the guys that had come through the letting agency. So that's just how it worked out. It, you know, it got absorbed into the rent. We were all happy. And I think that the landlords just the letting agency just assumed they'd be able to replace them relatively easily, and found they couldn't. I mean, they're nice people, and it's not a huge company, and you deal with the same one or two people all the time. And they told me quite candidly, they said, look, you know, we've tried about 50, 60 people, and out of all of those, only two even bothered to return our calls and get back to us or return our emails. So no hard feelings, but it'd be nice to get it back. Simone, the fries are a stronger flavour than knickknacks, I think, and better, I think, Barry. And oh, Mr. Stephen Parry goes on to wonder how our newly engaged couple are tonight, our wonderful Neil and Sophie. Well, Neil's sunburned his todger, and Sophie's quite frustrated, I imagine. But other than that, they are in newly engaged connubial bliss. They're having a wonderful time out on wherever they are. Palma de Mallorca, I imagine, I guess. Might be wrong. I've seen the photos and the videos and whatnot, and it looks lovely. Good evening, Mr. Boaty, says Dan Peters. Great to join your live stream. Wonderful to have you with us, sir. You have been missed. Oh, and Barry Scratters had a random alcohol test at work tonight. Well, hopefully he had enough. Barb's is not still, says Ed Usher. She's still very much alive. She's in Italy, probably getting stuffed by some poor young hotel boy. Dear. Barry Scratter says, I've known people who lose a tooth to have their nipples fall off. Oh, dear. But the M11 reassuringly says, I've lost several teeth, but my nipples are still firmly attached, Bazza. Bad Book says Barry, his cock might fall off. Nothing would surprise me anymore. And the M11 goes on to say that my nipples, her nipples, are rather like the pointy end of lemons, actually. Well, there's an image for you all to conjure with. Boaty is going to start his nipple play when he gets to comments re nipples. I didn't even think of that, but oh, that is nice. That's genuinely very. I've never done that until the other day when somebody mentioned it. What a nice way to pass a few minutes of an afternoon. Oh dear. I can only apologise for the burpage, darlings. I'm afraid it goes with the territory. I'm still quite tired. Not sleeping quite as much as I would like to, ideally. I'm the kind of man who thrives on just the right amount of too much sleep. And there's something odd going on with my bowels as well. Now, my bowels, and I'm sorry for mentioning this, but my bowels are normally pretty regular. Somewhere around some point after my second cup of coffee, within an hour or two, then I will pop to the loo and I will have a normal and pleasant movement whilst reading a chapter or two of a Jeremy Clarkson book. Now, the other day, as I related in the Mary Huff Management, I managed to produce a baker's dozen, 13 butcher's sausages. Not supermarket sausages, not all uniform in size and shape. No, 13 individual, each with their own identity sausages. And today, I went at around the normal time and I produced 5. And I thought, good, back to normal. Except that about 2 hours later, Mr. Brown once again popped down to reception and I went back and I managed another 6. So I don't know what's going on there. And I've got, frankly, darlings, I mean, it won't count as today. It'll be an early one and tomorrow. But before supper, I think there's another visit coming on. So I don't know what's going on. I must have lost a stone in the last 48 hours. I haven't got, the Barcelona squitty quits or anything like that. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if my body has just found a storage facility. It had forgotten what was there. A bit like Captain Mustard with the yard, having a good old clear out. The things that have been there for years, they haven't sold. So, might as well get them out, weigh them in, get them gone, get some money in. Maybe the same thing is going on with my innards. Maybe I've got a lower lockup somewhere. And the moderators in charge of my bowel doings have thought, well, yeah, it's not doing any good there. Let's clear it out and lighten the load. Because I've not been eating any differently. And it seems phenomenal that I should be. And I apologize for mentioning this, but I'm producing a great many stools, darling. And I don't know why. I've got no idea why. And I'm definitely going to have to go again before supper. Extraordinary. What an age we live in. The human body truly is a remarkable thing, isn't it? Yank the nipples too hard, says Peter P, and your teeth will fall out. Oh, that explains a lot. Oh, thank you, Matron. Matron's just done the channel member, subscriber, PayPal thingy. Thank you so much. Mr. Stephen Paddy says, I know it sounds like we're taking the mick, but do you have a pair of pliers? Take your tooth out live online. I'm not doing that. God above, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to feel that. I mean, longer term viewers will remember that the last tooth that departed company from my mouth, that did happen during a live stream. And I was quite proud of myself. I was in the middle of talking and my tooth fell out. And I just went, oh, my tooth's just fallen out. Tossed it behind me onto there and carried on. I thought, fucking how professional are you? I'm not getting the pliers out, but you've got, well, I mean, I live stream for an hour a day, maybe a little bit more. So you've got like a 1 in 24 chance of being around when the little vindictive bastard does decide to finally part company. Honestly, it's clacking about like Donna Tranter's piss flat. I can't say that. I'm so sorry. That was indiscreet and inappropriate. I do apologise. Behave, you. Neil says, behave, you tosspot. I know it was a nudist beach, but I only bloody fell asleep for 2 hours. I apologise. I was exaggerating. It was only 2 hours that Neil fell asleep on the nudist beach. It wasn't 9 hours, as I previously may have implied. Hello, fart collector, says Captain Mustard. Hello, Mustard. How are you, darling? No, says Andrew. I think our Boaty has a problem with manual labour. Same day he gets his hand dirty, his teeth start to vacate his mouth. I haven't got a problem with manual labour. Where does this idea stem from? Never known such a thing. I once spent 2 weeks in London ripping out suspended ceilings in an office block. That was very manual labour. And sleeping in the office block that we were ripping down in a sleeping bag to save money on digs. God, I'd forgotten about that. I was a student then, and yeah, I had the same reputation then as being a bit la-di-da, Mr. La-di-da Gunner Graham, and God, yeah. But I played pool and snooker at a local social club. That was my thing. Now, snooker, I was not so good at. Well, I say not so good. I was all right. But pool, pool, I was really good. I played for the national team. Snooker, I was a decent club player, nothing more than that. Pool, I was, national standard. And oh God! And one of the lads, Clive, it was, had this. He was a contractor, and he had this job down in London, 2 weeks, and it was the summer holidays, and he was short of labourers, and he said, and he was taking the piss. He said, "Do you want to come down?" And I said, "Yeah, all right. What the hell?" I thought it'd be something exciting, a bit of an adventure. I'd retired off the bike. I was bored being stuck in bloody Redditch, having, lived and raced on the continent. Oh dear. Oh, things are not well amidships, darlings. Tell you that. So I thought it would be fun to go down to the Big Smoke and hang out with the proper lads, and they were proper lads, drinkers, fighters, you name it. And yeah, we piled into Clive's Austin Princess, 2200 HLS, mind you. Or did he have the Granada then? Had he changed to the Granada? I can't remember. And yeah, we went down to London and did this job, tearing down the ceilings and whatnot in this massive office block and literally sleeping on the dusty floor. So we didn't have to pay for digs, and eating at a local kebab shop. And I'd never had a kebab before. And suddenly there's me sleeping on a floor in an office block in London with a load of hairy ass, drunken, hugely violent men grafting my ass off during the day and getting very drunk by night. Oh God, I've forgotten about that. Yeah, that was my first experience of kebabs, and Clive was a master of the kebab. So we had our first kebab first night, and the next night we went back, and he said, "That kebab, probably the best kebab I've ever had. It was amazing. Thank you so much." The only thing was, at my local kebab shop, it's not as good as yours, but we got a lot more meat. Oh, thank you, says the guy. And we all got more meat on our kebabs. And the next night it was, your chip portions, best chips I've ever tasted. But our local chip shop up where we live in Worcestershire, you get a better portion of chip. So, and this went on until we were having this enormous portion of kebab and chips. Oh, but I think we're about 3 or 4 nights in where it was a bit like our Vida same pet, you know? But after 3 or 4 nights, the novelty waned a little bit for me. And I discovered that there was a local pub not far away that was next door to the student nurses' residence. And this pub was where all the student nurses went. So I managed to clean myself down in some, there were no showers or anything like that. There were just the toilets in this office block. And I somehow managed to clean myself down. And it was called the Pineapple. I've remembered what it was called. The pub was called the Pineapple, right next door to the student nurses' residence. So I started getting my ass down there at night. And I had this new identity. I was a bit of rough. I was one of the lads down there working, grafting, dirty hands. Oh, I haven't thought about that for 35 years. Bloody hell. Everybody's saying hello to Mustard. Sophie's here, says hi everyone. How are you all? And I'm sending love. That's nice. Did bouncing around in Mustard's trailer knacker your tooth? Now is already knackered like the rest of them. Alan Simpson says same thing. I wonder if the trailer ride upset Boaty's tooth. Definitely not. I have watched a tooth being pulled out on YouTube, says Andrew. Simone might remember when Pete C had a bad tooth and Rich pulled his tooth out with pliers. Oh dear. Oh dear. You make me out to be a bloody nude obsessed pervert, says Neil. I take issue with that. I'm not making you out to be anything, Neil. I'm just reporting the facts. Oh, God, and Mustard's still saying hello to people. Oh, he's saying hello to Alanis Morissette here. Boaty's just rattled. The canary will have fallen off its perch. Peter, says Mustard in the latest of names that he wants to randomly shout out. Oh, right. Matron says, Emma says Buffy. Does she? How weird. And I'm laughing my bottom off at the northern sweary Emma. No, I don't, says Emma. I say buffet. It's buffet. Oh, dear. Buffy is a vampire slayer. Uh, anyway, it sounds fine, Boaty saying buffet, because he's posh and not a common Londoner, Trace, says the M11. Cheek, says Matron. Phoebe buffet. Oh, yeah. Oh, Phoebe. Oh, okay. Right, feature number 12. Might have to roll on till tomorrow because it's almost time to go. Ladies and gents, which order would you do the cast of Friends in? Or which would be your preference? Apologies. I'll waft that away for you. I would do, right, Friends, I'll tell you. Right, I would do, my first choice from Friends would be whatever her name was who played Janice. I can't remember the actress's name, but she would be my first choice. 100%, no argument. I'd take her any day over Courtney Cox or Jennifer Aniston or Lisa Kudrow. It would be. I'm annoyed that I can't remember her name, but she would be my absolute first choice. And if she wasn't available or was broken or not in working order or something, then I'd wait until she was fixed. Head and shoulders above all the others, as far as I'm concerned. It's still a shock, says Sophie. Just had to let my sister-in-law know that the 2-year-old niece is going to be flower girl, and Neil's sister is going to be bridesmaid. So all in total, 6 bridesmaids. Blimey, 6 matching dresses. Oh, John Stoodley is with us. Hey, chat, and hey, Boaty, mate. Oh, and John's not feeling too good. Oh, dear. Oh, and it's the meds making him feel very unwell. Oh, dear me. Dear me. Just be careful they don't get the Chuckle brothers in to do the gardening, actually, says Ross. Good idea. Right idea for the newest theme park in the Greater Manchester area. This comes from, I can't believe it's not Buddy Gig. Lay a shed load of bonnets on the ground with the front end backs overlapping, apply some soapy water, and voila, a slippery slide. More fun than the Obelix ride at Asterix Land, says Peter P. There's an Asterix Land. Why haven't I heard of this? I've told you about it. It's not called Asterix Land. It's called Park Asterix. It's on the outskirts of Paris. And I've told you all the famous story about when I took my family there and was appalled at the obelisk merry-go-round, which was fucking outrageous. For those who don't know, I don't know if it's still there, but at Park Asterix, when I took my family there, then you have a merry-go-round and you have the horses and you have the carriages and all of that stuff. Well, it was like that. It was like a merry-go-round, but it was Asterix based. But none of you will believe this. I swear to God it's true. Ask my former wife, the artist formerly known as Mrs. Boaty. She will tell you. I'll get her on the live stream if you doubt me. The carriage bit, where like 6 children could sit together, it was like a round seat like that, like you get on a merry-go-round. But the thing, it was Obelix bending over and spreading his arse cheeks. I promise you, this is true. He's bending over, spreading his arse cheeks, and the little children had to walk in through Obelisk's bumhole to sit down on the thing. I couldn't fucking believe it. Genuinely true. And the other thing is my joint favourite wooden roller coaster is or was at Park Asterix, and it's called Tonnerre de Zeus, the Thunder of Zeus. Fantastic wooden roller coaster. It's the best wooden roller coaster I've ever been on, but I've got a couple of other favourites as well. They're not as good, but I just love them. And they would be Megaphobia at Oakwood Park, and of course, the dear old Grand National at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. My tooth has just started to hurt. I blame Boaty, says the M11. Pop to the loo, my darling. Peter P says, M11, you two seem to have a very special connection. Your counting is shit, says Mustard. And your spelling is shit, Mustard, says the M11. You tell him. Boaty, what were your poos like shoes falling out of a loft hatch? Oh, here's a good question from Mr. Stephen Paddy. Did you manage to pick your engagement ring today, Neil and Sophie? A sensible, caring, interesting question there. Thank you, Mr. Stephen Paddy from Port Sunlight in the Wirral, the Leisure Peninsula, for getting this live stream on an even keel just before I bugger off. I would like to know the answer to that, quite honestly. Maybe the regular pain relief has done something with the extra poopies, says Metron. I know all about excessive stool, says the M11 Boaty. I can relate. And everybody seems to think that it was the yard shenanigans that triggered my tooth. My tooth has been on the road to this for about 2 months. I always knew you were full of shit, says Jimmy Quinn. What the Jeff have I done now, says Mustard. Just not paying attention today for some reason. Does anyone put paper on the water in the porcelain throne before placing one's body on the seat? That's from Andrew Buttygig. I do if I'm in a public lavatory, but not at home. I would pay £5 if you pull your tooth out live, says Jimmy Quinn. Boaty said a naughty word, says Baddy Scratter. Mr. Lemon, or the artist formerly known as Mr. Lemon, used to fill the toilet with newspaper first, and it often blocked the toilet, and then I had to sort that out, says the M11, with a sort of, rolling eyes emoji, which suggests that her marriage was not entirely plain sailing. Andrew, yes, I do, says Betty Scrotter, unless it's my own throne. That would be a good money earner, Jimmy, says Andrew, talking about paying £5 to watch me pull my tooth out. Unfortunately, not many teeth left, though. Oh, that's true. Squeak of the week, says Matron. Clip, clip, clip. Rattling canary now completely dead. Yes, says the M11. There was one bog roll for wiping, but it would put newspaper down to avoid splashback. He was a weirdo, though. Oh, and Matron says, watch as the flowers slowly keel over and wilt. Flowers, I haven't talked about that. I had the best surprise today, darlings. Now, if you're on Facebook, you will already know about this. If you're my friend on Facebook, not in the group, this is on my personal thing. And if you're not, it's in the video tomorrow, plenty of it. But there was an unexpected knock at the door, which always makes me panic, because I assume it's either a neighbour complaining about something or the bailiffs come to take all of my worldly goods. And it wasn't. It was a chap who knocked. I opened the door and he just kind of proffered this box, which I could clearly see was from an internet florist. And I thought, well, my initial thought was, this is obviously one of my neighbours and they're not in, and he's asking me to take the package. that often happens because obviously I'm here during the day. The neighbours aren't always. They're either at work or if they're retired, they're off enjoying themselves. So I'm saying, oh right, you want me to take this to somebody? Let me check the name and address. And I had a look, and it was my name and my address. And I launched into this babbling speech. I said, "Oh my God, these are actually from me. I can't believe it. I don't get flowers. I don't ever get flowers. I wonder what this is. What is?" And I just went on and on and on. And the guy just looked at me, didn't say anything, and he just looked at me with this bewildered look on his face, really bewildered. And eventually, after about 3 minutes of this impassioned, surprised, emotional speech of mine, eventually I stuttered to a halt and shut up. And at that point, this is true. He put his thumb up, signed to say that he was profoundly deaf, and he buggered off. Honestly, there are some parts of my life that you couldn't make up. But I've got this exciting box, haven't I? And and yeah, I finished my coffee, opened the box up, and it's this beautiful, beautiful bunch of flowers with things in, a proper bunch of flowers. You know, the expensive ones that you buy for your girlfriend when you wanted to do something truly filthy, or when you've shagged a sister and you wanted to forgive you. Lovely, not just flowers, there are ferns in there and blossomy, lovely things, absolutely beautiful. In this gorgeous box with a lovely card and some little chocolates and made me cry again. I'm always crying these days. God almighty, I'm turning into a right old horse's hoof. No offense to any horses. And it was from the M11. Bless her. With this, it's all on the video and it's on Facebook on my personal thing, which is public anyway. So anybody can bloody see it, and you're welcome to send me a friend request. If it's one of you, I will of course accept it. And I was so touched, and I'm so grateful. And I'm not going to shift the camera to show you them now, but you can see them on Facebook, and you'll see them in tomorrow's video, and they look absolutely. I'm looking at them now. You can see my head is turned, and they're stunning. They're absolutely lovely, and I was and am so moved. So thank you very much, M11, and thank you for the thought. Thank you for the lovely card, and I really appreciate the bit of Bruce Forsyth's wordplay in there as well. That really added to the experience. Did he blow out the candles? Oh, right. Candles have gone out, haven't they? No, I didn't blow them out. I'm trying to cut down on candle loss, candle cost. So I'm trying to stretch them out to 3 live streams, and they won't do 3, but I think they will do 2. They'll do 2 normal live streams or 1 Monday night. But even if I use them for 2 live streams, that's cutting the cost in half, isn't it? And every little helps, as the old lady said when she piddled in the sea. Oh, Barry, says Andrew, I even put bog roll in the loo at home, the dreaded splashback. Oh dear. And now there's lots of discussion about the wisdom or otherwise of putting newspaper in the bog. The most irritating thing in the world, says Paddy Scrotter, is when you've had a bath and then the body decides you need a poo, renders the bath pointless. Well, the rest of you would still be clean. He hasn't noticed the candle. I did notice it. M11 says you could just rewash your bum. Always poo before the shower, says Mustard. Or save time, says Andrew. Shit in the shower. Charles? I think Jason's just followed through and shit himself, says Mr. Stephen Paddy from Port Sunlight in the Whittle, the Leisure Peninsula. Oh dear. Oh, wine freezer. Oh, there are turds, but it's not too bad. Oh gosh, it's time to go already, darlings, isn't it? Is it Thursday? Oh, this was Mad Thursday, and I completely forgot that it was Mad Thursday. Never mind, we'll have Mad Friday instead. I think Phoebe was the prettiest in Friends, but it's an unpopular opinion, says the M11. No, Janice. It was Janice. Mustard would have the three ladies first. I've never watched a Friends program, says Jimmy Quinn. It's shit. Oh, Mustard agrees with that. Never really got into Friends, says Andrew. Smelly cat, smelly cat. Matron says, I didn't fancy any of the Friends cast. If I had to decide, Chandler first and then Phoebe. I wasn't allowed to watch Friends, says the M11, but I'm familiar with it. I watched a bit of it in secret. There is a great wooden roller coaster at Great Yarmouth, says the M11. And Jimmy Quinn also says, we've got a wooden roller coaster in Great Yarmouth. And the M11 says, yeah, and it's a good one. Well, I need to visit it, clearly. I need to visit it. I need to visit it. I need to visit it. I'm going to research it, and I'm going to put that on the list to do this summer. I've never been to Great Yarmouth. Where is it? Isn't there a new roller coaster that's just opened and closed due to technical difficulties, asked Andrew. Oh, I don't know. We have a wooden roller coaster in Helsinki, says Peter P. Built in 1951 and still going strong. The flower man looked at Boaty and said, twat, says Jimmy Quinn. Boaty's best audience was at the front door, says Ross. Thank you, Ross. Lovely, Emma. Oh, I agree. There's a very small theme park here, says Andrew. Luna Park in St Kilda. I think that was built in 1913 with its roller coaster that's still operational. Oh, you're very welcome, Boaty. Hope they cheered you up a little. They cheered me up a lot. I've only ever had flowers like that once before in my life, and that was a long, long time ago. I started arranging the flowers, and I was doing it outside, and I was clipping them carefully and all of that. And I suddenly looked in the kitchen. I thought, I need to clean this kitchen. If I'm going to put these beautiful flowers in this kitchen, it needs to be cleaned. So, yeah, I then spent a rampant 60 minutes cleaning the kitchen. So that's a win. I do like a clean kitchen. Don't forget to like, says Jimmy Quinn, or you'll be shot. It does still operate, Andrew, says Ross. It's either the oldest roller coaster in the Southern Hemisphere or something. I know what the oldest one in the Northern Hemisphere is because I've ridden it many times. And it's the Montana Suisse at Parc des Attractions on Monte Iguelda in San Sebastian in the Basque Country. And it is fantastic. Peter P says the Helsinki roller coaster is rare because the braking during the journey is carried out by a brakeman standing at the rear of the train. And the Montano Suisse in San Sebastian, exactly the same thing. One of only 2 or 3 roller coasters left in the world where there is a brakesman. He stands on the carriages and operates a huge brake. Very, very few of those. Come to Norfolk and we can go to Great Yarmouth. All right, I will. Oh, is that where it is? Norfolk. Okay, I can do Norfolk. The Premier Inn at Great Yarmouth, says Trace, is one of the better ones. right on the beach and right beside the pleasure beach. Okay. Well, that's a plan. That's going to happen. I'm going to ride a wooden roller coaster in Great Yarmouth, where I've never been before. Squirty Bertie, says Bad Books. Ducking hell. Ducks. Clip, clip, clip. Right, I'm going before my innards let me down any further. Thank you so much for your company tonight. It's been lovely. Thank you to the Great Yarmouth roller coaster has a brakeman as well. Bloody hell. Then I definitely need to go on it. And I need to go to Helsinki, but that might have to wait until I'm a bit less poor. Right. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I'm feeling better finishing this than I did when I started it. The wine has done its job. Hopefully the morning won't be too bad. Do join me tomorrow if you feel so inclined, Friday Night Live. Little bit later tomorrow, remember, 11:30. The second stop on the Great Yarmouth coaster is the best, apparently. And then that message was, I do, Andrew, I do. That is going to be the next task on the list. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. Thank you, those of you who did the PayPal thing. Really, really, really appreciate it. No, I won't. I won't, Bad Books. I'm not going to ruin that lovely new bedding. It really is lovely. I'm loving it. So thank you so much. All of our love to Neil and Sophie. Our love to John, who's just not feeling it at the moment. Sorry about that. And just much love from me to everybody. Have a safe and peaceful night or a great day ahead. Take joy wherever and whenever you can find it. Look after yourself and anybody who you love or who loves you. And I can't wait to see you next time. Thank you so much. And on that note, Pachu, and indeed, I wish I could fart now, but I haven't got one. Bosh.